My name is Ava Sutter. I'm Sam's daughter. I would like to start off by saying that I feel incredibly grateful to be in front of you all today and having the ability to introduce my father, Sam Sutter, as he officially announces his campaign for mayor of Fall River. I was raised most of my life in Fall River and attended several different schools here, one of them even including Cuss Middle School. I, like my father, have a love for the city. In the eyes of me and my father both, Fall River has enormous potential that has never been truly realized in the right ways. Because my father and I are so close, I know how much he has wanted and dreamt about having a second chance to lead this city. I know for a fact that if given the opportunity once more, he will do everything in his power to finally take the necessary steps towards developing the city's potential. I am honored to be introducing him today, not just as my father, but as a candidate I truly believe in. Thank you all for coming, and as I pass the podium on to my father, I hope that everyone here today, along with the rest of Fall River, listens with open ears and an open heart to what he is about to say. And above all, I hope that you all keep his words inside your minds when you go to vote on September 19th. Thank you so much.
Well, Ava, all that hard work that you put into those short remarks turned out beautifully. Thank you very much. You know, I remember something that my father used to love to quote. He was a really good public speaker, after-dinner public speaker. And he'd like to quote Woodrow Wilson, who would say that if he had to give a half-an-hour speech, he didn't give it much preparation. If he had to give a 15-minute speech, well, that would take him a few hours to prepare. But when he had to give a 3-minute speech, that was the one that he really had to work arduously on. So, Ava, you did a great job. I know you're proud of your Fall River roots. I hope you decide to return and contribute when you graduate from college in a few years. And I thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the other family members who came today, beginning with my wife, but also my aunt and others. Thank you very much for coming. And I wanted to gather everybody here today. I think all of you knew that I was running, but I didn't think all of you knew that it was official and why. So I can tell you that last Thursday, Liam and I went upstairs and collected the signatures. Dottie was actually there with me. Then we went downstairs and got the letter from Inesh and then brought it back upstairs to the elections division. And so I am officially on the ballot on September 19th, and I'm announcing that I'm running for mayor of Fall River. And I knew that when I made my announcement, and I'm not going to give long remarks, but I've given a lot of thought to everything I'm about to say, that I wanted a group of people here that came from all walks of life, from many different backgrounds, and ideally people that I had met and connected with and hopefully touched in my various roles and places where I lived in the city, beginning when I was a young assistant district attorney way back in 1991, and I rented a small apartment from, of all people, Bob Karam on Rock Street, people that I connected with and touched then during that period of my life. And then I thought I might see Paul Rebello here today. I don't know whether he made it, but others that I then met in my next transition, which was when I lived out at Ship's Watch, and I made the transition from prosecutor to defense attorney. And then when we moved to where we are right now on Dexter Street, and I decided to run for district attorney in 2005, and now we're still there and still raising our daughter, and very proud to be there. And then finally, when I made the decision, which seems like a long time ago, in November of 2014, to leave the DA's office, right on the verge of the Aaron Hernandez trial, at the beginning of the Michelle Carter prosecution. Those were two nationwide cases. I had just dismissed the climate change case. I think you could say I was close to being a national figure as a district attorney with those three cases. But it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the mayor of Fall River. And I am very grateful that I got that opportunity, and now I'm looking for another chance to do it and to do it even better this time. Thank you. So, thank you. And the people that are here and the people that I've met along the way, I believe those people believe in me as a person and as somebody, and this is the central theme of the campaign, folks, as somebody who can deliver results for the city of Fall River. That is an expression that you are going to hear me say over and over and over again. Message, message, message. I can deliver results for the people of Fall River, results that he has not been able to deliver, and I can deliver them for all the people of Fall River, not just a select few of friends. And you have records to compare on this central question because, let's face it, it's wonderful when people vote for integrity, and I think I've got more than that than he does. And it's wonderful when people vote for the person who they believe is hungrier for the job, and I think it's going to be clear that that's me. Who delivered more results during their period in politics, me or Paul Coogan? The answer's clear, me. Thank you. Now, here's the difference between what I've been doing for the last 7 years and what I'm doing now. I see a couple of my very good friends from the courthouse over there, and they know, because they're good, they know that what works in the courtroom is humility. Because if the judge thinks you're arrogant, or if the jury thinks you're arrogant, or even if the court officers and probation officers think you are arrogant, you do not succeed. But in politics, you have to be a self-promoter. So it's the opposite of what I've been doing for the last 7 years in a courtroom, where humility, modesty work. Here, there's a lot of self-promotion. And, oh, that's a supporter. No. So let me talk to you a little bit about what I was able to do in my 1 year as mayor. First of all, why are we here? We're here because back in 2015, when I took over as mayor, there were 3 stores left: Kmart, Payless, and Jamie Gonzalez's hair salon. And he was moving. And that's it. But there were 2 guys who were interested in developing this mall: Ron Golub and his partner Steve Cohen. The problem was they didn't have an anchor tenant, and they weren't making progress towards the anchor tenant that they wanted, which was Market Basket. And over the course of from the moment I took office until the deal was sealed in October, I worked as hard as a person can work to make that deal happen. And guess what? It did. Here we are, and this is the biggest engine, economic engine, in the city of Fall River over the last 20 years, in my opinion, and myself and my team made this happen. Story number 1. Just ask Ron Golub. Story number 2, Amazon. You may not know this, folks, but that project was on life support when I took over in 2015. And we scheduled a meeting with, yes, Governor Baker and Jay Ash. And Governor Baker turned to me and said, "I'm glad you won the election because I think you and I can make this happen." And guess what? We did 1,000 jobs for the area, I hope mostly for Fall River. Story number 2, Amazon. As JFK liked to say, one of my heroes, these stories have the distinct advantage of being true. Story number 3, the Quequechan Rail Trail, another project that was on life support when we took over. And I had the good sense to say to my best friend, Lou Pacheco, we got to get this going, and let's do whatever it takes, because this could be fantastic for the city of Fall River. And over the course of 9 months, we got that done so that the trail was actually baptized, if that's the right word, in late October of 2015, and that's story number 3, the Quequechan Rail Trail. Let's also remember that the New Durfee High School, that whole project began on my watch. I see Melissa here. I think she was on the initial committee there to get that going. Melissa Hendry. We also saw the expansion of 4 critical local businesses: Blount Seafood, Matook, New England Ropes, and Millstone Medical. Think of the economic development that took place in 1 year, and as a result, unemployment was cut 30% in that 1 year with the hundreds of jobs that were created. And I want to tell one last story, because this is a window into what we can do. So if you remember back in 2015, the idea for the biopark was what? Was a bioscience company, was a life science company. And we came this close. We were one of the last 2 or 3 on Biogen, which I think ultimately went to North Carolina, and one of the last 2 or 3 on Novo Nordisk. But what I want to let you know about that meeting with Novo Nordisk after that ended, once again, has the distinct advantage of being true, was that the person from Governor Baker's office who came down to try to help us make that happen, he said to me at the end, when it looked like it wasn't going to happen, "Stay with it, Mayor. Keep your shoulder to the wheel, because eventually you will get one of these companies." I just wish I'd had the opportunity, but I can tell you this, folks. I will make opportunities, economic opportunities, happen for the people of Fall River, just like this mall, if I get this chance, and I hope you will help me do so. Thank you. Because this is not a complicated equation. People in the city of Fall River are getting more and more upset about their rising taxes and their fiscal instability. Just ask them. But the reality is this economic development, this does what? It gets businesses paying taxes, which reduces the taxes on individuals like the people that I see behind me here. That is the key, is it not? That's what's happened in other cities that have experienced exciting, dynamic economic development. Just take a look at what's happened to Worcester once Worcester got the Pawtucket Red Sox. I was there earlier this year. A city transformed. Brattleboro, Maine, they did a special on it on Chronicle. That's what we can do here. We have that kind of potential. New business leading to more fiscal stability, leading to lower taxes for the people of Fall River. Now, almost at the end, folks. I'm positive, okay, I use that word carefully and strongly, I'm positive that I can do for the city and the people what I did in 2015. I'm positive that I can do that again in 2024 and 2025. And that's going to be the formula. Economic development leading to fiscal stability, leading to lower taxes. But there are other issues. There are other critical issues. So coincidentally, Alan, we got 70 days from today before people vote on September 19th. 10 exact weeks. So what we've come up with, my team and I, is we're going to concentrate on 10 issues, 1 per week. You'll see it. We'll post the video. We'll post the position paper. And I'm going to give you a little preview, just like we do in court in opening statements, of what's coming. Coming attractions. Beginning with what else? Economic development and my plan. That's going to be next Tuesday, July 18th. Then crime and public safety. Let me take a little detour here about crime and public safety. So I happened to go into the chief's office in July of 2021. I had a project that somebody had hired me on, one that I thought was worthwhile. And I sat down with Jeff Cardoza, and he said something to me that literally, everybody knows the expression, I almost fell backwards in my chair, but I kind of did. when he told me the number of shootings that had taken place in Fall River in the first 6 months of 2021. Reporters, get that data and compare it to what we did when I was district attorney. Jack Souza said in 2006, gun violence is at an all-time high. That number that Jeff Cardoza gave me in June of 2021 was greater than the gun violence in New Bedford at its peak in 2004 and 2005. And what was being done? What step can you tell me this mayor was doing to do anything about gun violence? I have not been able to see it, but I can tell you one, and when I release my position paper and video on gun violence, you'll see several. Here's one that I pledge to you right now. We will bring back ShotSpotter. ShotSpotter worked. ShotSpotter allowed the police to respond within 60 seconds, and the technology is only getting better. That's one of several things I'm going to do, but that's a coming attraction. Next is going to be the budget and the city finances, which keep getting what? More and more unstable. That's August 1st, August 8th. August 8th, I was just talking about this with somebody yesterday. What would be the right word? Blatant, unacceptable, mishandling of the ARPA money. That's going to be an issue that makes people go, are you kidding me? How did he do that? After that, on August 15th, our public schools. I see somebody who has a weekly talk show. He consistently speaks about what are we doing about being 335 out of 351? What changes are being, you'll see the changes when I talk about it in my position paper and video on August 15th. One change I can tell you is we've got to do something about the teacher retention rate. It's significantly below other cities like Fall River, and we've got to do something about that, and more on that later. On August 29th, addiction. And I've got some very good ideas about that because I've been in that courthouse almost every single day over the last 7 years, and I see what works and I see what's not working, and I think the city can do much better on that. September 5th, homelessness, and finally, September 12th, the complete lack of openness and transparency from this administration, and they think they can get away with it. I mean, they keep trying to hide things. It's like, oh, well, that's not going to happen on my administration. It's not going to happen after September 12th, when you see what I have to say about it. And finally, just before the primary, on September 18th, which is a Monday, surprise, surprise, I'm going to wait for that one, and you'll see what it is, and it's going to be big. Now, in closing, folks, in closing, and thank you for standing out here in the heat, I think all of you would agree, almost everybody in the city would agree, that the city's at a potential turning point right now. We've got the train coming. By the way, Paul Coogie didn't have anything to do with that, so please don't take any credit for it, Paul. And we've got improvements being made to Route 79 in the Duval corridor. And once again, Paul, please don't take any credit for that because that would be ridiculous. But we've got a downtown, folks. Just go there on a Friday night. That's largely deserted and doesn't need to be. And we've got vacant space in Mills. I see one of my good friends here who's got a fantastic idea for the development of space at Anawan. We can turn that into a tech center with the support of City Hall, and we can be a leader in the state on this issue. But we have too many opportunities right now that are being lost. So I'm going to close with this. I'm going to close with this for the people who hopefully are watching. This is the question. Who do you think can deliver more results for you in 2024 and 2025? Not more favors for his friends. He's done very well with that. I give him an A on favors for his friends, but I give him a failing grade on delivering results for you. Results that involve more new business, stable to lower taxes, less crime, more affordable housing, better schools, better fiscal management, and on. Here's the end. As district attorney, when I ran in 2006, I made a bunch of promises, like I'm making today. I promised less gun violence. Did I deliver less gun violence, folks, when I ran? I promised less gang violence. Did I deliver on that? I promised a higher homicide solve rate. Walsh's was 53%. What did we get ours up to? 90%. Did I deliver on that promise? How about solving cold cases? I promised we'd solve cold cases. How many did we solve in the first 4 years? 11. Did I deliver on that promise? I said we'd win more trials in the courtrooms, winning more trials, better teaching of the prosecutors, making it more clear to the prosecutors how important it was to do everything necessary to play fair, but win the trial. Did I deliver on that promise? How about less turnover at the office, which was very high? We cut it to the point where I was on a board with Martha Coakley, and she was talking about her turnover at the AG's office, and she said it was about 25% a year. I remember hearing her say that, and I sort of scratched my head. I went back and I said to Lisa Rowell, who was my stat person, there's no way we're doing 25% a year. See what we are. We were averaging about 11 or 12%. Less turnover, better office morale, volunteerism, which people said I couldn't do, and we did 26 hours. Every lawyer in the office, think about that, 80 lawyers, 26 hours a year. So these promises that I make to you today, ladies and gentlemen that are here, reporters, people of Fall River, I will deliver for you. Thank you very much.